Hi, I'm Andre Coast. Today's episode is on electoral reform, specifically proportional representation. During the last election, the Liberal Party of Canada, in their election platform, did say that they would look at electoral reform. And today, this evening, a group of concerned citizens and associations came forth to question Matt DeCourcy, the MP for the Fredericton area. Now, this rally coincided with the Liberal annual general meeting for the Fredericton area. And the big question that came out of that was, are Canadians ready for electoral reform? Now, just before I go on, I'm just going to quickly explain the concept of proportional representation. I'm just going to place it a very most simple form possible, just to get the concept. Under the proportional representation, if one party gets 10%, then they would have 10% sitting in the House. If another party got 20%, they'd have 20% sitting in the House. If another party got 5%, they'd have 5% sitting in the House. Well, that's proportional representation in its simplest form. Trust me, it's a little bit more complicated than that. There's about four. What comes to mind is there are 4 different variants on how to do this. So Matt DeCourcy, we got to give him credit, because some MPs just wouldn't come and face the crowd. They'd take a side door to come into the building. But Matt DeCourcy did come down the sidewalk and met the group of concerned citizens and associations and answered their questions. And the bottom line was, are Canadians ready for electoral reforms? From Matt DeCourcy's point of view, is that that Canada is not ready for it, because we cannot arrive to a consensus on how to go about it, or at least that was my interpretation. Anyway, the upcoming clip is that informal, public, basically question and answer period with Matt DeCourcy.
Opposition parties are sincere with the recommendations that they put forward, and I can say that, having been in the conversations, without divulging what those conversations were. I think the form of PR that is recommended in the report is far too extreme right now, and I don't think the Conservatives are at all sincere about having a referendum to try and change the electoral system.
And Matt, what about the vote? What about the polling from Fair Vote Canada? It was released.
Look, I can't comment on it. I haven't seen the poll. I don't know what it came from and what it stipulated. I really haven't.
Okay, I sent you the link. I sent you the link in an email on last Thursday.
Okay.
But there's 20 Liberal ridings that they polled, and I believe it was 15,000 and some Canadians in those 20 Liberal ridings, and an overwhelming percentage wanted proportional representation.
88% of the experts wanted
So
it.
it's quite striking.
Yeah,
Who's in favor of first past the post, man?
well,
I mean, has anybody campaigned for first past the post? I have never seen anybody campaign for it.
It's going to be a
And it's
shake-up.
archaic.
First past the post
It's
is going to go. And
But-
you got to get on board and get it right.
it may. I do believe you will see a change in the electoral system someday. I don't think it was right now. I really don't.
Tell us
have a
why
clear
we should
majority
trust
to do
you
it.
and any of your promises after you and your Liberal compatriots abandoned the electorate on the major platform,
That's it.
major plank within your platform. This would be the last election under first past the post if you elect a Liberal government.
Emphatically
We
stated
elected one.
over and over and over.
18
Because of that. Exactly. And I'll not do it again. You can count on it. You come around and do this right.
I fully respect that people there are people who are upset about this. I
being
don't
upset,
think.
Matt.
Major plank, Matt.
It's about time we had some real democracy.
We gotta make a change. It has to happen. We want to support you, Matt. We're not gonna be able to.
Well, listen. Look,
You
it is a
have our
democracy,
support.
and I respect the fact that you'll make the decisions that you want to make.
Major plank. People
I
made a decision based on that.
Matt, why can't the Liberal government just go ahead with a referendum? That would take care of the issue of who
I think the last thing we
supports.
want in Canada right now is a referendum, which can turn into a question about something far different than what it's
Just
intended
pass
to be
it
about.
because you have the mandate.
A referendum isn't.
You have the mandate
I agree
already.
with you on a referendum.
Look, if
because
there's-
they'll just buy their way through it.
But going the referendum route, I mean that settles the questions whether Canadians want it or not. It's expensive. We know that it's an expensive process.
We're hearing, look, even within this group, I'm hearing differences of opinion on the process to achieve this. This is a complicated matter.
We need democracy.
We need
This
an
is not
educational program.
This is
I would agree. I would agree.
On proportional representation.
Well, I think on the electoral system generally, and we are going to strengthen the mandate of the Chief Electoral Officer to educate Canadians and young Canadians and support groups like Civics and Rock the Vote and a number of other organizations who are doing that type of work. I fully believe in better education about the electoral system, about politics, about civics in general.
But not just in high schools. You could do it on TV.
Yeah.
If you believed in it, if you believed in proportional representation, you could make it well known.
Let's see it in the Telegraph and the Gleaner.
Corsi endorses proportional representation.
Well, I don't at this point, and
How can you say that?
Promises
matter.
I didn't get elected for saying
The
that.
hell you did? That was the big reason.
The reason why corporations like first past the post, and why? Because it's money in their pocket. We want democracy. That's what you need. That's how we can need some different ideas in the government.
Look,
Right now it's either one or the other, and no good ideas. That's what the problem is. We need to respond to a moving situation.
Yeah,
Corporatization has taken over the world in the last 30 years. It ain't the same world it was before with first past the post, man. We got to have a different kind of system now.
And you can see all over the world, governments are not listening to the people. And you know that.
And they're breaking election promises. And what's going to happen in the next election when you make an explicit promise, and knowing that the explicit promise you made on electoral reform, you broke. You have the support of constituents in Fredericton. Yes, you do. And it looks like the Liberals have overwhelming support across Canada for proportional representation based on the Fair Vote Canada.
I'm not sure that is as clear as you might think it is, Mark, and I respect the fact that people here do believe that.
But in terms of breaking promises, could you address that? And wanting to trust our member of parliament to follow through on their promises that got them elected.
Look, we're working hard to fulfill our commitments. Absolutely. I stand by the process that we undertook to try and do this. We wanted to examine all options, and we weren't able to even start by examining all options. This is a challenging conversation.
14 commissions have already said we need proportional representation.
Stand up
for your constituents and not vote with your party.
Look, I always stand up for my constituents, but I believe
No, you're not.
I believe in the direction of our government, and I know that people will have the chance to decide what they think in 2019. And look, I'll keep working hard for this community. I'll keep working hard for Canada. I'll certainly keep representing Fredericton as best as I can. The fact is, there are people in this riding who disagree with me on a number of issues and who disagree with each other on all kinds of things, and we do the best we can every day to
That's
be
not
as
an
respectful
excuse
and
for not
representative
doing
as
what's
possible.
right.
And look, I thank everybody here for coming. As always, I'll never shy away from this. You look, I'm glad the sun came out so that everybody could enjoy this in decent weather. I've got a meeting I've got to go into, and I know that I'll see folks around plenty in the community.